Our pipeline's incredible, just from the results that we've gotten. So we've been engaged in just, I think, under 60 days. We've gotten over 180 leads in the first 60 days. We have booked over 50 meetings from those 180 leads. So people that actually fill out a form, we've booked 50 meetings. Then we've converted a high percentage of them. I think 60% of the booked meetings we've converted and signed them up from accounts. So that again speaks to just the quality of the pipeline that you're building. So we're getting a real funnel at the top, people that are really engaging in our brand and filling out a form, down to where they're booking an appointment with us, where we're able to then get on the phone and extend the offer to them as far as our value proposition, and the quality has spoken in the results that we're getting.
Troy, thanks for joining me. Let's get a little background on your business. Can you describe what Paycomp does and how you got started in it?
Yes, absolutely. Paycomp is a technology company. We basically are an integration company between the insurance carriers that provide workers' compensation insurance for small businesses nationwide and the payroll providers that are basically processing payroll for those end insureds, those clients. So we're a technology company that moves data between point A to point B automatically for clients to create a better value proposition, a better experience for everybody involved.
Cool. I don't know if you want to get into the specifics of it, but you have built a pretty unique set of capabilities that doesn't really exist in your industry. If you want to move on from that and get to the next question, we can. But if you want to take a minute and just articulate what you have, that could be relevant to anybody watching this, because it is really a niche offer.
Yeah, I think the key for us is, I started in the insurance industry, owning a brokerage. Then I had a payroll providing company, providing small businesses clients processing payroll. And there was just a gap in being able to offer a true pay-as-you-go offering to small businesses where they get a zero down payment, low entry to the marketplace, and having to remove the burden of actual reporting payroll to the carrier, which is looking for that data. And the carriers are never receiving that data cleanly from clients. And so that was another pain point. So there was pain on the insurance carrier side. There was pain on the broker side that's kind of chasing this data around. And then there was pain from the clients, the insureds, at having to report this payroll on a monthly basis. And so this integration of technology to automate it and free up anyone having to do it manually and getting the clean data to the carrier is kind of our sweet spot. So our technology basically integrates with these 160 plus insurance carriers nationwide and these 1,000 payroll providers. Every insurance small business client has a different payroll provider. There's so many out there. And so being able to integrate with all of them has really been our sweet spot. So we've just freed up this clean data to go between these two financial insurance and payroll provider institutions that didn't exist before.
Cool. So when the business is relatively new, what were you looking to solve specifically to grow the business?
So, first we had to really identify who our target client was, which was fairly easy. We are really going after insurance brokers that are distributing workers' comp policies to these end clients, these business owners. And so we knew who our target audience was, but then it was, how do we attract them? How do we find them? How do we get our story out? It's a new technology. It doesn't exist in the space today. So how do we find the masses out there? There are, call it 400, 500,000 insurance brokers nationwide that may offer workers' compensation. How do we get our message in front of them? And so identifying that target and then going after that target was kind of the unknown. It's, we have the experience in the industry to build the tech and to have the solution, but how do we now find them? And we weren't sure if we were going to turn towards cold calling or email drip marketing, or, how do we do this? And, my approach first was, let me partner with a marketing company that could find these people, but I didn't know where to go. And so we interviewed dozens of companies. We narrowed that search down to 10 different companies. And then we had to be convinced of, yeah, let's do it through meta ads and let's do it through paid advertising. Now, I still wasn't sure if that's the right take, but so I didn't know going into this if we were going to do it via cold calling or email marketing or how we're going to do it. But that's the problem that we had to solve, is getting in front of this target audience.
So I remember when we were first talking about the channel and the strategy that we use to grow revenue for niche B2B tech offers. What were your thoughts initially when we talked about using Meta?
So, I don't claim to be the expert in marketing. I've been part of it for a lot of large organizations before, but as a small business owner, it's been kind of a lost cause of throwing bad money after bad money and really not having the experience of where to go. And to be truthful, when I partnered with you, I still wasn't sure. You were the most, let's say you were the most convincing of the different companies that we integrated with or talked to.
Yep.
And so when you said, yes, this is how you do it. This is our experience. This is where we're going to find the client. This is where they're going to help us find your target audience. I was convinced that at least you sounded like you knew what you were talking about. And
Yep.
so we bet on, the Brooks pipeline, but I still wasn't sure when we started the engagement.
What was it that got you to the place where you were willing to make the bet that this would work?
I think again, your approach, you're very transparent. You're forthcoming. You walk us through the process.
Yep.
You are the expert in the room. You bring a lot of confidence that, hey, this is how we do it, and this is why this works versus other channels.
Yep.
I think you, as a marketing company, have an opportunity to do any channel you want. And
Yep.
so you were convincing me that no, this is the channel you want to be in, and this
Yep.
is why. And
Yep.
so there was an education process there when we
Yeah.
engaged with you that built my belief that this is the right thing to at least test.
Yeah, 100%. And that's one of the reasons we love Meta for anybody watching this is because the reach that we have in that channel exceeds all other platforms for B2B go to market. It has more daily active users than LinkedIn and TikTok combined. And so even in our relationship, we've barely scratched the surface in terms of your total addressable market.
Yeah.
So, question, how did you first hear about us?
So it was a Meta ad. I saw your bright shining face on Meta, and you were articulate. You had, you struck a chord with what I was trying to accomplish, which is, market my business and
Yep.
find my ideal client. And so then I engaged, and the process was simple once I engaged.
Yeah. One of the moments we had on one of our initial sales calls is where we actually showed you some of the creative and the copy that we believed would resonate with your target market. And I recall that being kind of an aha moment for you. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember telling you that if my team had come to me with that creative, I would have thrown them out of the room. And I really had to trust in the relationship that you are the expert, that you know what works,
Yep.
and just go with it. And so I'm still shocked that those creatives are the things that are
Yep.
working today. I wouldn't have created that. I wouldn't have built that. I wouldn't have think that we would have success with it. But
Yep.
you had to trust the expert in the room.
Didn't it? I mean, so first of all, kudos to you on this because, as part of our process, we collaborate closely with you and with our clients to make sure
Yeah.
that the words represent reality for your offer and for the pain points. But when you think about the creative, doesn't it just speak so clearly to the pain and the desired outcome?
It does. It's so simple. We talk about things being simple, stupid, and it
Yeah.
is that simple, stupid. I remember just saying the title is like, that's it. That title, just two words, is going to capture the audience we want to speak to because I'm that person. And so now I'm going to engage in the rest of the content, which also is simple. And so I just think it's the simplicity is what works. And I see now looking back why it works. But you get in your head from a marketing standpoint that it has to be all these other things, and it
Yep.
doesn't.
Yep. And so we run a funnel that has a qualification step in it on Meta to make sure that the right people are coming through. How would you describe the quality of the pipeline that you guys are working with?
Yeah, our pipeline's incredible. Just from the results that we've gotten. So we've been engaged in just, I think, under 60 days. We've gotten over 180 leads in the first 60 days. We have booked over 50 meetings from those 180 leads. So people that actually fill out a form, we've booked 50 meetings. Then we've converted a high percentage of them. I think 60% of the booked meetings we've converted and signed them up from accounts. So that again speaks to just the quality of the pipeline that you're building. So we're getting a real funnel at the top, people that are really engaging in our brand and filling out a form, down to where they're booking an appointment with us, where we're able to then get on the phone and extend the offer to them as far as our value proposition. And the quality has spoken in the results that we're getting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great to hear. How has your process changed since you've been working with us? Like, have you refined your sales process? Have you rethought like anything around that? Just curious.
Yeah, I think we try to figure out how to do it quicker,
Yeah.
just because if we could really ramp this up, then you're dealing with so many onboarding calls, which is the best problem to have, right? Is, how do we create more efficiencies? How do we create automation? For our product, we have to engage the broker and then sign them up within our system. So operationally, we've improved some things, steps, and it's forced us to do that quicker.
Can you describe what it's been like working with our team or how it's been different from other people you've hired to help you grow pipeline?
I think I do feel like there's a true partnership there. So I think we're all running big businesses in a million different directions, but we have quality time, scheduled time where we're going to talk about marketing and talk about the engagement and the pipeline and what's working and what's not working. So I think the first thing is that there's a true partnership there, that I feel like someone's on this fence with me to go after it. I think there's been good transparency, and you have been the expert in the room. So there's times where we wanted to, there's a weekend, 2 weeks in, well, what should we change this? And you're like, stop, like let the system work. And so I think that communication, us not you not letting us push you around, and you come back with the confidence of just let the process work the way it should work, has been good. We've been transparent on how often we're going to meet, what that's going to look like, the timing of things, from the soft rollout to then going live to where our weekly follow-up calls are right now. There's just been good communication with the entire team. So it's been fantastic.
So great to hear. So when you think about the sign up percentage of the people that you're speaking with, these are inbound leads who've never heard of you that are coming to your business on demand, basically.
Yeah.
What does that look like compared to other services you've used or things you've tried to do in the past?
Well, we've done, listen, in other businesses I own, we've done cold calling, we've done email marketing, we've done whatever. The best part of this campaign is you're able to really track all the analytics, and really see it. And so you could go back to that pipeline. So I said we had over 180 leads that came in. We had over 50 booked appointments. We converted 60% of them, but there's still a bunch of prospects out there that just maybe the timing wasn't right to set up a meeting. And the analytics that we're able to plug into HubSpot and continue to monitor it and manage it, and integrate it with the help of your team, has been instrumental for us to continue to grow this pipeline in this book. And then, other things have happened. Our visibility, our website traffic has jumped and increased. We've grown a following through Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and LinkedIn and other channels. So our brand is getting recognized, not just with the conversions that we're seeing, but also just brand visibility. And we're seeing an increase in all those metrics as well. So I don't think that we would get those type of conversions, those increase in traffic through another form of marketing, personally.
It's really interesting that you talk about the other elements that you get. A lot of clients really appreciate being able to test and validate the messaging that resonates most with their target audience. Can you speak to that at all? Has there been any insights or leverage that you've gained from like, which creative, which angle, which hook, what people are saying on the calls?
Yeah, yeah. I think you encourage us to record all the calls, so we record every sales call. So now you start to hear what are their true objections, or what motivated them, what inspired them to get connected with us. So we are clarifying our own pain points, and then we're turning those into marketable materials, flyers. Within our ecosystem, we put a broker channel where we give them marketing materials for their brokerage to market to clients. And we've gotten all of those pain points and obstacles that they are overcoming through those sales calls. So that's been a huge success for us.
Oh, this is great. So if somebody's watching this and they're on the fence and they're looking at us and maybe they've spoken with me or somebody on my team, why do you think they should take action now instead of waiting?
I think the bottom line is we're trying to grow our business. We know that if you're not growing 10% a year, you're dying. And so you have to grow your business. So how are you going to go acquire customers? I know my acquisition cost won't be the same as everybody else's, but mine's under $50. And that speaks to the quality of the leads that we're getting.
Yeah.
And so really, if you want to grow your business, you need to act now. And I think the challenge is, where do you go? Well, I'm a meta ad believer, right? And I was not, right? I have goosebumps just thinking about how I was not convinced. But now it's not about do we devote more time to marketing in a different channel in addition to, and that's not the answer. The answer is just put the gas pedal down, right? Operationally, we have to be ready for it. Sales standpoint, we have to be ready for it. But how do we just start to increase our activity? But the channel's not going to change. I think meta ads is the right thing. I'm convinced of it. I've seen it work. I think you spoke highly about Meta owns the market. They know your clients. They know where they're at. They know the data points. They know where to find them. And it makes sense, right? It's Facebook. It's how massive are they? And it works. And so, yeah, I would double down, but there's no reason to wait if you want to grow your business. If you don't want to grow your business, then, by all means, wait.
Great. So true. Yeah. The Pixel gets smarter. And, once we get past 100 booked calls, we can use that data point as a lookalike audience to go get even tighter. Your cost per acquisition is clearly in the top single digit percentiles. I mean, that's a tremendous result. And it's so wonderful to hear that. So if somebody watching this wants to learn more about you and Paycomp, where can they find you?
Yeah, they can find us at paycomp.com. Again, we're a technology company trying to create a better experience for the end client. But along the channel with that becomes brokers and carriers alike that are our clientele. So yeah, paycomp.com.
Great. Troy, it's been great chatting with you. And thanks so much for joining me on this call today.
Yeah, thanks so much, Brooks. Appreciate you.